Hey everyone, Once Bitten here. So this was game 4 of 2 weekends ago when I pulled out my Beastmen with a certain list, and I was just playing a bunch of games so that I could decide if I want to tweak the list and how I want to tweak it. So met up with a guy right at the end of the day at the game store, so we kind of had to rush through this game. So we did a pitch battle, 2,500 points. Starting on my far left, he's got a level 2 with Lore Fire, Infernal Puppet, Fast Cav, 50 Marauders with great weapons. I know it looks like flails, but they're great weapons. He's got a caster built, as you can see, a unit of warriors with his Chaos Lord. I don't remember the specific build of his Lord, because almost every game I play, they don't have extra lists for me to take with me, and I just can't remember all that stuff. But he was, he was a Chaos Lord. He was killy. So another 50 Marauders. This one had an Exalted Hero BSB, a unit of Chaos Warriors, and then some more Fast Cav on the right. So I put some chaff units down before I knew where he was putting his main blocks. So here on the right I have Razor Gore, some Ungore Raiders. I should have 25 Gore in that unit, but looking at this picture, obviously I was missing a couple models, so whatever. Behind him you can see one level 1. There's a Herdstone to his left, and then there's another level 1. One of them has a Dispel Scroll, one has the Herdstone. Got another unit of Gore, again 25 strong, with a Beast Lord and a BSB. Behind him is my Great Bray Shaman, Lore of Shadow. Then I have my best Gore unit with a Flaming Banner. On the hill there's a Tuskgore Chariot, Ungore Raiders, Razor Gore, Tuskgore Chariot, another Razor Gore. Behind him, of course, are my 6 Minotaurs, the champion with the Golden Sigil Sword. So, not really sure what to do. When I look at that line of chaos killiness, I really don't think there's anything in my army that can match up toe-to-toe with those guys. My best Gores, I think, I would take them against a unit of warriors because they're relatively small. Other than that, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. In theory, I was thinking I would love to be able to get my Minotaurs in the flank of everything, in the flank of that Marauder unit, but even then, with all those Strength 5 attacks, my Minotaurs aren't going to last very long. So I get to go first, so I move up. Chariot gets a lucky charge into his Fast Cav. Otherwise, my left looks like this. I think the Razor Gore in the bottom left, I don't know if he failed to charge or if I just left him back so that his level 2 couldn't come around the side and get behind my lines. I honestly don't remember. Right looks like this. If you look at the bottom, that's a Razor Gore that I'm holding back because I don't want his Fast Cav slipping behind my lines and threatening my level 1s. So during the magic phase, I got off Purple Sun. It did nothing. It killed maybe 2 Chaos Warriors, and the miscast result put a wound on both of my level 1s. After combat, his Fast Cav is dead, and my Chariot overruns just out of line of sight of his Marauders. I wasn't worried about it either way. If he were to charge my Chariot, either he would just pull himself away from the battle line, and I think I'd been willing to trade that, especially after getting his Fast Cav off the table. So more blurry pictures. Sorry about the pictures this game, but it's like I said, we were in a hurry, and so I was just snapping photos very quickly. So Warriors turn 1. He moves up, as you can see, and over here, and nothing of significance happened. He had a magic phase, but I had a scroll, and I had enough to spell dice to shut everything down that was significant. So Beastman turn 2. You can see my Ungore Raiders and both Razor Gores are just trying to trap his level 2 Lore of Fire. I charge in with my Chariot and the best Gores into his Chaos Warrior unit. I actually really like my odds there, except that he has the Rapturous Standard. He has a Chaos Lord, which I don't love, but it's the standard that I really fear because, it's just too easy for him to stick around, and he's got a BSB nearby. So there's a close-up blurry picture. And the right looks like this. Now, on the right, that unit of Gore going into the face of his Chaos Warriors, unless I can get some good magic off, that's probably going to go his way. But one, I can get some good magic off. The Herdstone really helps in that regard. And two, even if I just tie them up in combat, it makes it so that his Marauder unit there in the middle can't really do anything. It's in the flank of both of those units, both of my units, and there's no way it can make that wheel to get into combat. And there was a lighthearted discussion about, do you actually rotate the combat to close the wheel or whatever it's called, um, close the door. Anyway, that would seem to be ridiculous to rotate a whole combat around to accommodate him. So basically, I feel like I have his Marauders trapped in there, unless he want to come out and get into combat with my Lord, and I would probably be okay with that. So there we go. Now, if you look, there are 18 Chaos Warriors. When you look at the picture after combat, there's still going to be 18 Chaos Warriors. I wasn't able to get off any buffs or hexes, and my guys did absolutely nothing. Over here, I was happy enough with. I cast a -2 toughness spell, and because we were hurried and I wasn't really thinking about it, I had the fleeting thought that this is the unit I need to kill as many as possible because of that standard, and so I targeted this unit without even considering the fact that my Bestigors have great weapons, and so lowering his toughness isn't going to do me any good. So had I lowered the other warrior's toughness, that obviously would have made a big difference. So just stupid mistake. Regardless, I won combat. He needed a 6. He had 2 chances to get it, and he got it. So that was not horribly unfortunate, but not what I was hoping for. Now, if you look at the Marauders on the left, if they charge in, they'll be in the flank of that chariot. If they can wheel. I'm not sure they can wheel either, because I have my Ungor Raiders moved them up as far as possible. I'm not sure they can complete that wheel. So that was kind of weird. Anyway, he killed a few of mine. We all stuck on this side of the board, and we go to his turn. And again, I think when it was his turn, he saw that he couldn't make the wheel. From this, so he just reformed him. I mean, basically, his front corner was, a quarter-inch past the front of that Tuskor chariot, and so when you start there and start wheeling him around, it would have hit my Ungor Raiders. So he just reformed it. His level 2 charged my Ungor Raiders, which I was surprised about, although he does have a real good chance of beating them in combat. And then if he overruns, he'll get out of the way of the Razor Gore that you see at the bottom left. You see a little red thing. Remember, I have another Razor Gore behind him. Anyway, that's more of a look at the overall board. You can see his Marauders in the middle. They really can't do anything. I mean, they're providing a BSB reroll, so that's okay. After combat, looks like I killed 2 of his guys, maybe 3 of them. He killed more and did not run down my guys. I was hoping, actually, that he would run them down, or at least they would get out of my way, because if I could charge his warriors with my general's unit, I think I could beat him, and if I did, I might be able to get a free flank charge into his Marauder unit. But it didn't work out that way. So over here, you can see his level 2 did beat and then ran down the Harpies. And it looks like he's set up for an easy charge by Minotaurs, but I'd really rather not get in there with him, because I think if I beat him and overran, I would be set up for a flank charge by his Marauders. Or even if I was in this guy's front, I would be into the front of the Marauders, and I'd rather not do it. If my Minotaurs charge the Marauders, I'm in their flank, and that's really about as much as I could have hoped for. If you look at the middle combat, the Chariot's dead. Pretty much everything else is too. His Lord's still doing very well. He's got 3 warriors left, and I've got very few Bestigors. The problem is, he's going to get to attack before I go next time, and so his Bestigors are likely not even going to be able to, to swing their great weapons. So Beastman turn 3. I take my far Razor Gore and charge his level 2. The near Razor Gore couldn't quite see him. And then I charge the Minotaurs into the flank of his Marauders. And again, that's as much as I could hope for. The problem is he's still strength 5 to my toughness 4. There's a lot of attacks, and if he reforms to face me, he's just going to, I'll kill a bunch, but he's going to kill a bunch. But nevertheless, I mean, it's still about as good as I could hope for. Here, sorry about that. The Ungor that are running away actually did rally, so they turn around. So during the magic phase, I reduced the strength of the Marauder units by by 3, so they're down to 2, I believe. So instead of strength 5, they're strength 2. And if I'm wrong, they might have been strength 3. Whatever it was, it made them much, much less threatening. So I go in there with, was it 21 attacks. I killed 13, which is probably about 3 or 4 above average. Very happy with that. I won combat. And then we both wanted to reform, and I won the roll-off. And so I reformed wide enough so that when he did his reform, he couldn't go 5 wide and stay steadfast for a while. But he is facing me now. But on his turn, when we fight, he's going to be wounding on 5s or 6s. And I just don't remember what it is, but certainly very, very nice. If you look at my Razor Gore, he killed the level 2 and overran and couldn't quite make it into combat with his general's unit. So Warriors of Chaos, turn 3. Oh, I lied last time. My Gore did not rally, and so on his turn, his warriors charged them and they fled, and then his warriors charged my Razor Gore way to the right, which really surprised me because I thought it would take them out of the combat. But in hindsight, I think it was a smart move because he just didn't want to be there with my general. So anyway, he chased the Razor Gore off and then had a failed charge, and so he's sitting there where I can charge him on my next turn. So over here, starting at the left, his general's unit with the Chaos Warriors charged my Razor Gore, and I fled. And the reason I did is because if I'd stayed there, he would have easily beaten him in combat, overran, and got into combat with the Minotaurs. By fleeing, I thought it would at least force a choice. Well, when I fled, I ran like 2 or 3 inches. He couldn't get into combat with the Minotaurs because I was in his way. So he went ahead and completed the charge, killed the Razor Gore, and then just reformed away from things. So going into this combat, I was very, very excited. I have 6 Minotaurs there with a total of 30 attacks, hitting on 4s, wounding on 2s. That's why you play Minotaurs right there. I was very, very excited. Otherwise, it looks like this. His warriors were in a failed charge. And his bus of Marauders, I think, had a failed charge as well. And this is my unit that had to flee, and the Razor Gore is fleeing. And this made my jaw drop. I had 30 attacks with the Minotaurs, and I did a total of 3 wounds. He came back at me, and if you remember, he was wounding on either 5s or 6s, and he did more wounds than I did, and beat and ran down my Minotaurs. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Yeah, I felt that was somewhat unfortunate. So Beastmen turn forward. I mean, my chariot charges his general's unit. He flees, and so my chariot has a failed charge. This was kind of funny. My general's unit charged his warriors, who fled, and then my Ungor Raiders charged the warriors, and I think what his plan was good, because if he rolled anything at all, the Raiders would have failed as well. But as it is, he rolled next to nothing, and my Raiders caught him. And I had just been joking that game, like, I don't know what the Raiders, I don't know what good they are, they never do anything, and they killed that whole unit of Chaos Warriors. So anyway, my general's unit has a failed charge against those warriors, and I don't know why I didn't redirect. I'm sure there was a good reason, but I didn't, whatever. Anyway, but he can charge me on his turn, so during the magic phase, I hex that unit to where his strength and his toughness are greatly reduced. So on his turn, he takes the Marauders to the left, pulls his Sorcerer out of there, and makes it to where my chariot can't charge around him. His general's unit rallies, of course. He decided not to charge me, because if you look on those cards on the left, he was hexed. He wasn't going to do all that combat. And although he would be steadfast, didn't want to take that chance. So he gets Infernal Gateway off, and it does relatively little damage to this unit. And overall, the board looks like this on Beastmen turn 5. So my general's unit goes ahead. I go ahead and charge his Marauders. I know that he's going to be steadfast, but it's the only way I have of winning the game, and we might as well fight, right? I take my chariot, since I don't want to charge that unit of marauders in the face, so I just move him around so he can't charge me. And there we go. That's close up of the combat. And I don't know why I keep. My Gore rallied. That was nice of them. My I have a Razor Gore and Ungor Raiders on the right that are, or I'm sorry, the Razor Gore on the right that's fleeing. It's still fleeing, but it has several feet of table left in front of it. So after combat, we won, and despite his steadfast, um, he broke from combat. My Lord killed his BSB in a challenge, and that's why he didn't have a reroll, which is I think why he failed that steadfast. But he got away, and that was my last turn. That goes to his last turn. There's nothing really to do. He picks off one of my mages in the magic phase, and that's the game. So we added it up, and it looked like it was a victory for him. As far as I can tell, I lost my Bestigors, 2 Razor Gores, 1 unit of Ungor Raiders, and a level 1. He lost both fast cap units, a unit of Warriors is level 2, and is exalted. I don't know what those points are, but regardless of what it was a very close game. I was heartbroken with the Minotaur's performance. I really thought that they were going to just chew through that unit and then be there available, nice and frenzied to help out with everything else he had on the table. But it wasn't to be. 4 games in a row, 4 losses. Some of them very, very close. All of them a lot of fun. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it.